Hi, my name is CJ, and I hope you're as excited as I am about answering the big life question, why are we here? I mean, what's the point to this journey that we call life? And for me, I remember those awkward school years. I was in 5th grade. It was the first year our school allowed boys to get their ear pierced. I know you're probably laughing, but it was cool when I was your age. Trust me, whatever's great now, in 10 years, won't be. But anyway, my buddy Mike was the first dude to sport that ear bling, and I was jealous and wanted one. The only problem? There was no way my dad was going to approve. Let the battle begin. So back and forth we went. It was my attempts to persuade my dad, followed by his unwavering no. So what'd I do? Wait for it. That's right, I enlisted my mom. But she wanted to remain neutral. She did, however, suggest some allies. Cue the grandmas. Somehow, my dad actually agreed to let the grandmas make the decision. I like to think that I wore him down, though it was more likely because he was certain his mom would side with him. I mean, honestly, SpongeBob had a better shot at Squidward becoming his best friend than I did my dad's mom giving the green light. So, lo and behold, it was all to our surprise when she said it would actually look cute. This was a crushing blow to my father. Why, you ask? Because my other grandma, or my mom's mom, well, she was a manager of the jewelry department at the mall. So what do you think she was going to say? You are right, and I wore that fake diamond stud with pride. It's funny to think that at that time of my life, getting my ear pierced seemed like the most important thing in the whole world. And yet, years later, I don't even wear it. What about you? Do you ever think there's more important things than like ear bling or drooling over pop stars? I mean, does God really have a custom or a unique vision for your life? Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were free to go do something, what are some fun things you like to do, man?
I'll probably just hang out with some friends and just think of something to do with them, I guess.
Let's say that money is not an option, man. You can do whatever you want, and what would Daniel do?
I would help
Your
the world
innocence.
and create world peace and end all war.
This is a Miss America pageant. I think I've asked you a question before, and I think you said something about buy a house on the beach.
Oh yeah.
2 Bentleys
and
a couple planes. That's
Yeah.
right. How do you like to serve people? Like what? All right, so like you enjoy skateboarding, all that kind of stuff. Like it's fun for us. So, like, what are some ways you enjoy helping other people?
No, that's weird, because that's actually like, what a coincidence. Because today and like this past like week and stuff, I've been looking for like a job, and one of the things that like I thought of was I could just help people like learn to do stuff, and like with my talents like teach them, and that kind of stuff. I see how you could say that, like where he has a plan for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like specific, but you don't exactly know what it is. It's just kind of like hinted at you.
You know, there's a guy in the Bible who had to make plenty of decisions even though he couldn't always see the outcomes right away. His name was Joseph, son of Jacob, and he was the favorite. In modern day, all his drawings and report cards would be hanging on the refrigerator. Unfortunately though, he had some not so nice brothers who felt underappreciated and annoyed by all the special treatment and gifts he received. And then one night, Joseph had a crazy dream in which bundles of grain tied by his brothers bowed before his. Pretty sweet, right? If you're Joseph, I mean, who wouldn't want their brother or sister's toys bowing before their G.I. Joe? Anyway, Joseph shared his dream and it only annoyed his brothers more. Not too long after, Joseph had a similar dream. Now he was really curious, but there was work to be done and Joseph was soon sent to check on his brothers tending sheep. Little did Joseph know his brothers were plotting something evil. If God has this unique vision for us, then we need to be able to hear him, right? I mean, we want to be able to hear him, and one of the ways he speaks to us is through his word. So he's trying to have this conversation with us, and sometimes we block that out. We get busy, life just happens. Right. Is there any way that like we can like nail down like, okay, I'm definitely gonna do this. Like no matter what, video games are gonna come second. Like is there anything you can do to make sure that happens like for real?
Prayer.
Okay. So just praying for that ability maybe to like understand.
Yeah, like God, please help me get more into you and get more into the Bible and help me to start like cracking down on it and just really reading it.
So there's possibly like a disconnect from like the reason you may not like reading is maybe because you don't understand. And maybe because you don't understand, you kind of get frustrated and you're like, well, what's the point of this? Go back to video games.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Because it's kind of like the same thing if you're just reading anything. If you're reading it and you just kind of like don't understand it and you're just kind of like, all right, well, I have no idea what this means. Just forget it. Like that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
And it's looking to people like you, for example, or like Pastor, like Craig, or just anyone, and it's like seeing, all right, can you help me understand this? And that way, you will understand it and you'll want to keep reading it because you'll know what's going on.
So you're kind of saying that you understand that God has this unique vision, so like you're cool with that, and then you understand like to get there, it's like listening to God's calling. And it sounds like you're saying that another important part of that is like not trying to do it on your own, but finding people that can like speak into your life to help you discern those moments and maybe keep you accountable for your next steps as you live out your unique vision, huh?
Yeah.
If you remember, Joseph's brothers were up to no good, planning some not so nice things. Now, I'm not talking about taking his milk money or shoving him in a locker, but killing him. That's some serious anger. Lucky for Joseph, though, his little bro convinced the older brothers to only toss Joseph into a well, which still isn't all that cool. And then they decided to eat lunch. Wait, who are these people? Attend to flock, check. Ruin brother's life, check. Eat lunch, check. While they stuffed their faces, some traders or guys who buy and sell goods caught the brothers' attention. They realized they could sell Joseph and make a profit. And that's just what they did. Now, you're either thinking, when is lunch? All this talk about food is making me hungry. Or won't Joseph's father, Jacob, notice his favorite son missing? Yes, but our band of brothers had that covered as well. They took Joseph's special fleece and dipped it in some animal blood. Gross, I know, but this was to make it appear as though a wild animal had attacked him. And keep in mind, this was long before all that CSI stuff. Returning home, they handed the bloody clothing to their father, and he tore his clothes grieving for his lost son. Of course, he wasn't dead. Joseph actually became a slave to the Egyptian officer Potiphar, captain of the palace guard. You know, I have to admire Joseph. He knew the dreams had a purpose, and he was going to be patient and endure whatever it took to learn their meaning. Basically, even though he didn't know what the future held, he was going to trust God daily. Trust that God had a vision for him. Let me ask you this. Like we're talking about, God's unique vision for your life. Why do you think it's important, even at your age, to understand that God has a unique plan for your life?
Because even though it's set for so far away, I can, if I start hitting it now, hitting like whatever it is that He has for me, I can hit it later with so much more power and do it with so much better ability than I would if I'm just kind of like doing whatever, living my life, and then get to it and start working on it. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like this back to school, I guess. Like if there's like a project or something, and you start it like a month before it's due versus a week, you're gonna have it so much more in detail and so much better when you start it earlier like that.
So you're basically saying you understand it's important to be taking steps each day, basically, not procrastinate. Because it's our nature probably to procrastinate and feel comfortable, but really we have to understand it takes discipline and we have to stretch our comfort zone. But in the end, we get to have that fulfillment of living the purpose that God calls us to, huh? It's natural to wonder, how did Joseph handle such a terrible situation so well? Well, I believe Joseph began to understand his dreams were actually a calling from God. And while it may not look promising right now, he chose to trust God knowing he was being prepared for something big. Now don't miss this, you're no different than Joseph. That's right, God has a unique plan for you. Jeremiah 29:11 states, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." You know, it's easy to seem like you're lost at sea, even when you're surrounded by so many people. It's like you've been plopped down in the middle of the ocean with no land in sight. And on top of that, you don't even know the direction toward land. You're asking, where do I begin? Let's start by breaking down the word vision. Well, vision is what brings focus or clarity to our life. It helps us to not become overwhelmed or distracted. Vision gives us that direction we need to, understand what God really wants us to do or who He wants us to become. If you play sports, you don't just run around the field like crazy people. No, you take direction from the coach who has the game plan or the vision. You go out and do your specific role or your purpose. Well, in life, it's no different, except God is the coach. This week, be thinking about how God desires to use you. Check out Proverbs 16:3. It says, "Commit your plans to the Lord, and your plans will succeed." It might seem like I'm lost at sea out here on the boat with no land in sight, like without a plan or even a vision, but actually on the boat, I have a GPS or a compass to help guide me back to shore. Why don't you let God be your GPS or your compass and let Him guide you back to land? You have hopes and dreams just like Joseph and desires in your heart for a reason. So when you're thinking about that big life question, why am I here? remember, discovering and living your unique purpose clarifies how God wants to work in you and through you. And soon, you'll begin to see, land, and start moving in the right direction. Understand that you have a specific role or a unique purpose, and that in life, you're no longer going to feel like you're lost at sea.